Hello and welcome to our news coming to you from Canal. First, the top stories of the news. Algeria is surprised by the EU hasty and unilateral decision to end the consultations phase and launch an arbitration panel, a move that goes against the EU association agreement, according to Algiers. Algeria is a strategic partner to the United States of America, according to the Washington Institute for the Near East policy, being at the heart of regional challenges. France is facing bankruptcy and Prime Minister is aware of the critical situation and announces a series of measures and restrictions. Welcome back to our news. First in our news, the EU Trade General Directorate informed the Algerian competent authorities of the establishment of an arbitration panel in the dispute over Algeria's so-called restrictions over trade and investment restrictions, which the EU believes infringe the EU-Algeria Association Agreement. Responding to this move, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, indicated or addressed an official message to the High Representative of the Foreign Affairs and Security Policy and Vice President of the EU Commission, Kaya Kass, in which he expressed Algeria's surprise concerning this hasty and unilateral decision to wind up the consultation phase and launch arbitrary procedures. While consultations meetings have been engaged over 2 months, adding that 6 of the 8 disputes are being settled. Attaf indicated also that there is no reason to interrupt dialogue, as the Algerian side showed readiness to submit concrete proposals relating to the 2 disputed points. He also highlighted that the unilateral European move, which goes against the association agreement, notably Articles 92 and 100. The Foreign Minister recalled that only the Association Council is entitled to assess the consultations and their outcomes, adding that this council has held no meetings since 5 years, despite Algeria's insistent request, depriving thereby the 2 partners from an important institutional framework, the mission of which is to ensure a balanced evolution of the bilateral relations and settling disputes. In view of this situation, the State Minister called for holding a session as soon as possible for a global and balanced review pertaining to the 2 partners and parties concerned, while respecting the legal framework of the association agreement. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, received on Thursday the Sahrawi Minister of Foreign and African Affairs, Mohamed Yeslam Bissat. The 2 sides reviewed the latest developments related to the Sahrawi cause at the diplomatic level and ways of getting full independence in line with the UN General Assembly and the Security Council's resolutions. To another story now, always here in Algiers, the 44th General Meeting of the Development Bank Shelter Afrique wound up in Algiers, and Algeria assumed the rotating presidency of this session, represented by the Housing Minister Mohamed Tarek Belaribi. The meeting attended by African housing ministers, appreciated Algeria's roles in terms of organization and coordination, as well as its considerable experience in this vital sector. Still with the news, the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, the most influential organization in terms of American foreign policy, indicated in its latest report that Algeria is a strategic partner for the U.S., highlighting the numerous Algerian-U.S. cooperation prospects. Melissa Kabash tells us more.
According to the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, Algeria stands as a prominent partner for the U.S. Its natural resources, including gas, constitute a major economic engine driving force. The American think tank hailed the energy and potential of our youth, viewed as an engine able to deeply change our country. And in face of the ongoing insecurity in the Sahel, the organization urged to follow Algeria's expertise in terms of security and fighting terrorism, insisting on the need to reinforce the ties of confidence as they constitute a solid partnership in the field of anti-terrorism, notably through the exchange of strategic cooperation. Adding that cooperation isn't only within the security field, as three major axes are identified as priorities, namely economy, the fight against extreme violence, and cultural exchange. It also encourages concrete partnerships in the fields of health, agriculture, mines, and agro-industry, as they are considered as a priority for the Algerian government in its strategy to diversify its economy outside hydrocarbons. The organization evoked the will displayed by Algeria in promoting English. This diversity opens more doors for educational and cultural cooperation between the two countries. The report affirms Algeria's immense role at the regional and international scene in a world experiencing a multi-faced crisis.
To cooperation now in Seoul, one of the world's top tech capitals. Young Algerian entrepreneurs are exploring South Korea's innovation ecosystem, hoping to learn, connect and bring fresh ideas home to power the next generation of startups. Melissa Lila Balaman reports.
We are in Seoul, one of the most cutting-edge tech hubs on the planet. A group of young Algerian entrepreneurs is here to get an inside look at South Korea's thriving innovation scene. The goal? Learn from a model that turned the country into an economic heavyweight, scout out investment and funding opportunities for new projects, and sharpen their skills to help their startups grow.
I'm so proud of this Algerian delegation. I'm here to see how Korea's ecosystem operates so we can figure out what lessons to bring home to strengthen our own startups and build solutions that fit our local context. South Korea has deep expertise in gaming and digital entertainment. We're hoping to tap into partnerships and secure potential investors. I was chosen through the Algeria 2.0 program, an initiative that gives us a rare chance to explore Korea's innovation landscape and connect with top tech firms, especially in the digital education sector.
The itinerary includes meetings with tech giants, tours of industry expos, and practical training, a total immersion in South Korea's innovation ecosystem.
The Algerian group is made up of driven young people with fresh ideas in healthcare, digital solutions, e-commerce, AI, and interactive learning. We're aiming for real results and hope this experience helps launch strong startups in Algeria.
The Algerian Startup Expedition program shows the government's commitment to nurturing a new wave of entrepreneurs ready to innovate and compete internationally, a promising boost for Algeria's growing startup scene.
Always in the realm of cooperation, the Higher Education and Scientific Research Minister held talks with his South African counterpart. The meeting allowed the two sides to exchange experiences meant to develop innovation and new technologies. A working group has been set up to work out a plan starting from next December 2025. The Central Bank of Algeria is announcing that the travel allowance amounting to €750 for adults and €300 for minors will be implemented starting from next Sunday, pursuant to the decision taken by the President of the Republic meant to increase the travel allowance. The Central Bank indicated that the necessary mechanisms, the logistical means have been put in place to meet the citizens' needs, provide more facilitations and comforts for travellers in coordination with the different competent authorities meant by these operations, conclude the communique of the Central Bank. The General Directorate of the Presidency extended its condolences to the family of late journalist and author Jamaluddin Merdassi, who passed away at the age of 78 years, leaving behind him a rich career. For his part, the Communication Minister, Mohamed Mzian, extended similar condolences messages following this painful ordeal. You're still watching our programs, Canal Algérie. Coming up in our news. The REACH program is worked out in Bijaya summer camps destined for the children of the national community abroad to discover their motherland. Welcome back to our news. And on the international scene, the dramatic humanitarian situation in Gaza was denounced by Algeria during this session of the UN Security Council. Tawfiq Al-Aid Qudri, member of the Algerian Permanent Commission at the UN, finger-pointed the silence of the international community vis-à-vis the serious violations perpetrated by the Zionist occupier against the Palestinian people. Let's have a listen to him.
أجساد تموت من العطش قبل أن تموت بالقذائف والرصاص وأطفال يولدون بلا طفولة.
The bodies are dying of thirst before dying under the bombs and the bullets. Children come to this world without living their childhood and die without dignified graves. The world remains silent, a silence that became a crime and a lack of consciousness. How long will we describe these massacres with soft words? How long will we respond to the murderers with statements of concern? And how long will we describe the victims as collateral damage? This silence, covered by diplomacy, will be part of history, not as a proof of neutrality, but as a betrayal. It's not enough anymore to condemn or express solidarity. Talking became useless. It's time to act and use the mechanism of the United Nations Chart to put an end to these crimes that cannot be ignored anymore.
انتهى الكلام. الواجب الآن والفعل ونوقف هذه الجرائم التي لم تعد تخفى على أحد.
Still, the Palestinian file, the massacres in Gaza are still ongoing. 18 Palestinians were murdered this morning in the enclave. 2 million Palestinians are facing starvation as the humanitarian aid is blocked and the health system is no longer operational. We sent Abu Zaid and Yassin Hamdi with further explanation.
While the health system in Gaza is collapsing, the Zionist entity is intensifying its attacks, thus making the situation unbearable for the hospitals that are barely still working. No one is spared by the Zionist barbarity. These attacks confirm once again the determination of the Zionist occupation to continue its genocide and annihilate the Palestinian people. The bombed area was supposed to be safe. There was no resistance here since the beginning of the Zionist attacks. The Palestinians are not safe and have nowhere to go. Houses, tents and refugee camps are always targeted. Men, women and children die every day because of a huge lack of medical material, medicine and food. The medical teams can no longer meet the basic needs of the Palestinian people. According to the UNRWA, 60% of the essential medical material are not available because of the Zionist blockade. Treatments for blood pressure, infections and parasites, as well as antibiotics for adults, are unavailable. Despite all these challenges, the medical teams continue their honorable mission to save lives in several areas in Gaza. As you know, 80% of the saving and emergency capacities have been destroyed. Currently, we're working with very limited resources. We use almost destroyed vehicles that we repaired. It's very hard to carry on their maintenance, but we do our best to continue the saving operations. Determined to continue their massacres, the Zionist planes are always ready to bomb any region in the Palestinian enclave, always ready for a new massacre.
Still with international news, it seems that France is facing bankruptcy following the terrible financial results. The French Prime Minister himself admits that the times are hard and announced restrictive measures. More details with both Yassine Hassini and Yassin Hamdi.
France is going through hard times as its Prime Minister François Bayrou tries to save the finance of a country that faces, according to his own words, the mortal danger of debt. The country is collapsing because of public debt that exceeds 3,300 billion euros, which represents 114% of the GDP, the third most important one in the Eurozone after Greece and Italy. According to the European Commission, France should record the worst deficit of the Eurozone in 2025 and 2026. The French Court of Accounts and the Bank of France kept warning against debt and deficit, described as a wall and a mortal trap that may lead to higher interest rates and destroy the French economy. According to economists, France is facing a weak economic growth, out of control public finance, and a deteriorating rate. To face this situation, François Bayrou announced a 43.8 billion euro budget cut for 2026, which means less money for local communities, a decrease of the helps to companies, a slowdown in the public service funding, and the cancellation of several investment projects. Despite the Bayrou plan, France is still struggling to convince investors, remain doubtful regarding a political blockade since the dissolution of the National Assembly in June 2024. They demand a higher yield if the country becomes ungovernable.
From France back to the African Union, human rights organizations continue to raise the alarm concerning the situation in Western Sahara regarding the arbitrary arrest committed against Sahrawi activists and the inhuman situation inside Moroccan prisoners. Melissa Kabesh tells us more again.
Despite the numerous calls for international bodies and organizations denouncing the inhuman acts committed by the Makhzen, it continues its role in the arbitrary arrest and detention of activists, particularly those advocating for self-determination in Western Sahara. Ayman al-Yathribi is one of those who found themselves behind bars after seeking their legitimate right to freedom.
Sahrawis who have long experience in the Moroccan jails are accustomed with these harsh practices. They are in desperate need for help and support.
Sahrawi inmates are frequently held in deplorable prison conditions, from overcrowded cells to physical and psychological abuse.
The Moroccan occupation forces treated us badly. We've endured insults and beating and other forms of torture. All this to deter us from demanding our right to independence.
الصياني اللفظي والجسدي هذا كامل قصدهم به يكثنون عن مطالبتنا بحريتنا والاستقلال وهذا ما هو ليثني الصحراويين بإذن الله عن حريتهم واستقلالهم.
The Makhzen's actions are widely seen as systematic efforts to spread fear among activists and the Sahrawi people, who are determined to face these acts till they gain their right to self-determination.
Back to Algeria, through a presidential effort to consolidate ties with Algerians abroad, thousands of young people are back home this summer to reconnect with their roots. Rauf Hamouche and Melissa Lila Balaman reports.
This summer, thousands of young Algerians from abroad are returning to their roots, welcomed through a presidential initiative designed to strengthen the bond between the homeland and its diaspora.
L'Algérie, c'est un pays très magnifique.
Algeria is a beautiful country.
C'est une ville que j'ai pas vue.
It's my first time in Algeria. This is a great opportunity.
Faut pas les rater.
Un grand merci à la mosquée de Paris, à notre président Tebboune.
My thanks to President Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Algerian Ministry, and the Grand Mosque of Paris. We were welcomed like royalty.
Alhamdoulilah, on a été accueillis comme des princes.
A warm welcome awaits these young visitors who have come to discover and rediscover the treasures of their country of origin, and above all, deepen their bond with their identity. For the past 4 years, the Algerian government has been working to bring the diaspora closer to the motherland by organizing summer camps. The water is amazing and the beach is very clean.
Merci président Tebboune.
I want to thank President Abdelmajid Tebboune for this trip.
Musée tout ça avec la colonie.
Everyone is happy to be here.
We were proud and moved to welcome so many of our fellow citizens from the Algerian community abroad. This initiative shows the Algerian state's ongoing commitment to keeping strong ties with the diaspora, especially younger generations, to help them nurture their sense of belonging and pride in their national identity.
A rich cultural and educational program has been worked out to allow these young people to enjoy an unforgettable summer back home.
Back from beautiful Bjaya to Algiers studio to wrap up our news tomorrow. Another day, other news. Keep tuning to our channel and programs. Take care and bye-bye for now.